We've all been there, right? Faced with a really tough choice. But what actually makes a decision right or wrong? Today, we're going to dig into the foundations of ethics, the kind of hidden rules that guide us when things get complicated.
So, let's just jump right in with a real gut check. Imagine this. Your family is in serious trouble, financially, and you're the one in charge of your class's money. Do you borrow it? And look, this isn't some abstract thought experiment. This is where duty and loyalty collide. This is where ethics gets real fast.
So, let's give this situation a name. We'll call it a treasurer's tough choice. By walking through this difficult spot, we can start to unpack some of the huge ideas behind morality. Okay, so here are the specifics. We've got Cindy. Her classmates trust her with their money. That's a big responsibility. But at the same time, her family is in a genuine crisis. The power's about to be shut off, and her own mother is asking for help. You can see there's just no easy way out of this. No matter what she does, somebody's going to be seriously affected.
Before we can even begin to say what Cindy should do, we need a framework. We've got to understand what kind of rules we're even playing by here. And that brings us to a really crucial distinction. Not all rules are created equal. Some are just about, social convenience, but others are about something much deeper.
See, on one side you have non-moral rules. Stuff like traffic laws or a company dress code. Using the wrong fork at dinner might be awkward, sure, but it doesn't make you a bad person. But then you've got moral rules. These deal with the big stuff: honesty, fairness, and preventing real harm to people. Cindy's problem? Yeah, it's not about etiquette. It is squarely in that moral territory.
And these moral rules, they're guided by what we call moral standards. You can think of these as the fundamental principles we use to judge actions that have a real impact on people's lives. They are the absolute foundation, the bedrock of all our ethical thinking.
So, what gives a standard its moral weight? Well, first off, the stakes are high. We're talking about serious things like theft, honesty, or causing harm. Second, these standards are supposed to override other values, even something as important as friendship. And finally, moral standards are meant to be universal and impartial. They should apply to everyone equally.
Now, these kinds of moral challenges, they don't just pop up for individuals like Cindy. They actually play out on all sorts of different scales, affecting everything from our personal lives to entire societies.
We can basically break these down into 3 levels. You've got the personal, the organizational, and the structural. Let's take a quick look at what that actually means.
So here's how it breaks down. A personal dilemma. That's just you, right? Like choosing a career your parents might not love. Then you scale up to an organizational one. That affects a whole group, like a company trying to decide between layoffs or cutting everyone's hours. And then the big one, a structural dilemma. This is about entire systems, like a government trying to balance trade policy to protect its own farmers. Cindy's choice feels personal, for sure, but you can see how it's part of this much bigger ethical landscape.
Okay, so we've covered rules and standards and all these different levels. But what's the single essential ingredient? The one thing that turns any old tough choice into a truly moral choice in the first place?
It all boils down to this one incredibly powerful concept: freedom. The freedom to make a choice. That is the very engine of ethics.
I mean, think about it. A lion isn't evil because it hunts a gazelle. Your dog isn't being immoral when it chews up your favorite pair of shoes.
But us humans, we can be judged for our actions. So why? What's the big difference? What do we have that they don't?
The answer, plain and simple, is freedom of choice. It's our capacity to actually think about our options and decide for ourselves what to do. Without this ability to pick one path over another, concepts like right and wrong would be totally meaningless.
You can think of it as our unique human toolkit for morality. We have rationality, so we can think through consequences. We have autonomy, which means we can make our own decisions. And we have self-consciousness, this awareness that we are the ones choosing. This whole package is what makes us ethical beings.
And here is the absolute crucial point. Freedom and accountability are 2 sides of the exact same coin. Because we can choose, we are responsible for the choices we make.
Okay, let's bring this all full circle. Let's go all the way back to where we started. Back to Cindy, her family, and that class fund. So with this whole framework in mind, understanding moral standards, the seriousness of the issue, and the sheer weight of her own freedom to choose, the question lands right back on her shoulders. Her decision isn't just a practical one, it is a moral one, and she is the one who's accountable for it.
And in the end, every single ethical dilemma, from the smallest little lie to the largest government policy, rests on this simple but incredibly profound truth. Our ability to choose is what gives our actions moral weight.
And that leaves us with one final question to think about. Cindy's choice was between her duty as a treasurer and her duty to her family. We all face moments like that, don't we? When our responsibility is just to pull us in different directions. So when your duties conflict, how do you choose?